What's up, guys? This is Walking and Talking, another episode of my show. Today I'm gonna start with a poem which I already read, but when I did it, I did it not as good as I wanted to do it, and now probably I'll do it a little bit better. Because it's just a few minutes, why not to repeat a poem? Worldly Place by Matthew Arnold. Even in a palace, life may be led well. So spake the imperial sage, purest of men, Marcus Aurelius. But the stifling den of common life, where crowded up pell-mell our freedom for a little bread we sell, and Dutch under a foolish master's can, who rates us if we peer outside our pen, much with a palace. Is this not a hell? Even in a palace, honest truth sincere, who spoke these words, no shadow ever came. And when my ill-schooled spirit is aflame, some nobler, ampler stage of life to win, I'll stop and say there is no succor here. All aids to noble life, the aids to noble life are all within. So, that was a poem. And it's still not perfect, but you know, I like to work and these memorization types, and for me it's just a few minutes. I repeated it, and then next day I'll probably repeat it once more, and I hope at the end of the week I will be able to tell this poem like better, and then I start learning a new poem, maybe not. So today I'm gonna talk about philosophy most of the time. At least it's my intention. If I go aside, well, don't judge me, because there's lots of stuff which are going on around, and to be completely focused on one theme, it's not too easy, but I'll try to do my best. So, philosophy. Well, I consider myself as a philosopher. So I was studying all these, philosophers, and not only for a long period of time, but let's start from a kind of definition, like what is philosophy? And as far as I can tell, philosophy is exactly what I'm doing right now. So I'm just learning how to think, and well, I forget about road, I thought there should be certain crossroad when people can go. That's funny. I should pay attention to what's going on around, not diving into my thoughts. Okay, so philosophy. What I'm doing right now is philosophy. And what exactly I'm doing? I'm learning how to think. I train myself to use my knowledge and understand it, and do some sort of independent thinking here. And well, it took me a lot of time to reach this point, because I started thinking about myself as a philosopher about 6 years ago or something like that. And before that I already had been doing like 6 or more years of philosophy without knowing that it was philosophy, by the way. And well, let's make a sort of analysis of the word. So philosophy basically consists of two Greek roots. The first is philo, which means love, and the second is sophos, which means wisdom. And if we translate it into English, it means that philosophy equals love to wisdom, or no, love to thinking, we can say. Because what is wisdom? That's another interesting question which you can start, learning and start trying to understand. And we spent many years just trying to understand what is wisdom. And here I think we can replace the word wisdom with the word truth. I'm not saying that they're like equivalents, but for the purposes of better understanding and kind of simplification, let's use the word truth. So philosophers, they seek truth, or they seek wisdom. But truth is a more common term among philosophers themselves. Not among every philosopher, because there's like huge disagreement what it is and how it works. And now I want to clarify a little bit these disagreements and contradictions, because as far as I know, lots of people who are not philosophers, and even who are kind of professional philosophers or academic philosophers, who by my definition are also not philosophers, because what they are doing is just reading somebody else's books and interpret them, and most of them don't do any philosophy whatsoever. So it's like, yeah, they may know like hundreds philosophers, and they may be able to explain you what this or that philosopher wanted to say, and they even can interpret his philosophy in some way, but they don't do their own philosophy. They don't think. They study like lots of other philosophers. And they don't try to create some kind of their personal view. Well, this disagreement, or we can say contradiction, between materialists and spiritualists, or between realists and idealists, or between nominalists and empiricists. Well, this is a kind of superficial contradiction, because nobody is actually a pure materialist or pure spiritualist. Everybody, even if a philosopher will tell you that, oh, I am an idealist, like Schopenhauer, for example, he might tell you for for many years that he is an idealist, and Plato was the great idealist of all time, and idealism means this and that, and so subscribe to our ideology, be an idealist. But the truth is that if we take Schopenhauer as an individual, like what he did, how he did that, etc., we'll easily find that maybe he believed that he was an idealist, but in real life he was like 60% idealist and 40%, let's say, realist. And so it also depends on actions. It's not only about like what this or that philosopher thinks, but what he does and how he does it. How much time? Well, I have 5 minutes. Yeah, and another really profound distinction, which people usually don't talk about in philosophy, is distinction between, like now I'm going to use this term truth. So people, for example, or philosophers who study or learn about wisdom and who search for wisdom or look for wisdom. Those who believe that they have found wisdom, they can be called dogmatists. And these people is like Plato, Aristotle, Schopenhauer, Hegel, some people like that. They believe that they know what wisdom is and what truth is. And like in Hegelian sense, there is an absolute. And this absolute, it's like absolute truth. And it's truth for like everybody and independently from like who can perceive it. I mean, it's really a dogmatic way of looking at the problem, at the issue. Like, oh, okay, I have been studying, for example, philosophy for like, let's say 20 years, and I discovered like absolute truth in this or that philosophy, or just in my experience. I may tell you like, oh, it's personal experience. I'm sitting here every day meditating 5 hours a day and looking inside myself, doing self-inquiry, some spiritual techniques. And now I have this experience and I know exactly what is absolute, and I know exactly what is truth, and I know exactly what is wisdom. And you may believe me or not, but the point is not just believe, try to do it on your own and you'll discover the same thing. But, well, it's all dogmatic philosophy, according to this distinction. Because dogmatists, yeah, they may be, there's some different, of course, there's a whole variety of views in dogmatic philosophy. So some dogmatists are, they say this is the truth, and it's only the truth, and there's no any other truth. Another may say like, no, look, it's like this is the truth, but we are still learning. We still continue to understand the truth. We are still seeking wisdom, and since that, just it's kind of half. It seems as being half dogmatism, but it's actually the same type of dogmatism. But it's ashamed dogmatism, I would say. Yeah, sort of ashamed dogmatism. Now I'm translated from my Russian language this term, because yeah, ashamed means ashamed philosophy, ashamed dogmatism. It's a sort of, I don't know where this term came from, but I learned it from a professor, my teacher of history and history of law and history of law of foreign countries. Well, I can't translate it literally, this term. Okay, dogmatists. And we have just a few minutes to... Well, I just finish and then I continue talking about like different types of philosophers and dogmatists and skeptics. Yeah, another type of philosophers, those who give up the search, so they can just, they can start from being like curious about philosophy. They can start learning it, and then at some point they can decide that there is no way to find it. So there is no way. Okay, I'll finish here and I'll continue next time.